What's up everybody on YouTube? AJ Rest about to discuss another video, and today we're going to be talking about why this year's Olympics for basketball is going to be the best we've seen yet. Some might think that's a bold claim. I really don't think so, and honestly it's because of the talent that's across these 12 teams in the Olympics, and really that's a sign of things to come. Obviously America should be favored to win, and they are, because we have sent our A team, having Steph, having LeBron, KD, Anthony Edwards, D-Book, to name the plethora of talent that we have, even Joel Embiid. But also if you look at different teams like Canada, I know Canada lost the exhibition game to America. To an extent, they have a lot of NBA talent, having Jamal Murray, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who was the MVP candidate this past season. Mind you, they're also playing without Andrew Wiggins. They have RJ Barrett, Dylan Brooks also on Canada, different players like that. America should be favored, but Canada, they have some hoopers. France, of course, they have Victor Wembanyama, and they have Rudy Gobert, twin towers essentially. Australia, they always have a solid amount of talent. They have Joe Ingles, they have Josh Giddey, Patty Mills, Josh Green, among other NBA names. And even Germany, they won the World Cup last year, having Dennis Schroeder, having both the Wagner brothers. They have a solid team as well. And we can't forget to mention Giannis on the Greek national team and Nikola Jokic on the Serbian team. A lot of talent, I know. And then also I can't forget to mention Rui Hachimura in Japan. And why am I saying all of this? Obviously America should be favored, but in the next few years we can't definitively say that, because it took us this year sending the A team in. Of course the Olympics haven't been played yet, but if you look at the World Cup, the different rules and things of that nature that are more physical compared to the NBA, really more complex in terms of officiating, and they let players get away with more things, we're gonna see an ultra competitive Olympics. And America should win, but ultimately I wouldn't be surprised if there are some close games that are nail biters. As an American, and if you're American watching this video, because this video is obviously about the Olympics, so it could be reaching out to different demographics. If you're American like myself, obviously you want me to be tripping, saying, "Now we're gonna blow everybody out by 50, but I wouldn't just definitively say that. There's a lot of talent. That's why I brought up all those different teams. And there's only gonna be more talent in the years to come in 2028 when the Olympics are on American soil in Los Angeles. That France team is gonna be low-key nice. Of course you have Wemby, but there are a lot of other French prospects that are coming up. Of course, Zachariah Richichet, he was drafted #1 overall. We'll see how his career pans out. Alex Sarr, he's another French player, 1 and 2 picks. And who knows in the next 4 years what type of talent France will get. So having some more talent along with Victor Wembanyama, they could be a real threat in the 2028 Olympics, 2032, and so on and so forth. Same with Canada. I mentioned Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Andrew Wiggins, he isn't playing because of some trade rumors with the Warriors, things of that nature. I think that's messed up, because players, they play all on the line when they're playing for their country, and they play with that country pride. So it's tough that he's not playing, but maybe even potentially him playing in 2028. Still having Jamal. Zach Edey, he isn't even playing, but he'll probably play in 2028 as long as he's healthy. Of course, Dylan Brooks playing right now. I mean, there's just a lot of talent, guys, and it's not just gonna be a cakewalk. I don't think so this year and for years to come. But with that being said, guys, before I dive even deeper into this Olympics video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe and turn on post notifications. You know what we post about here, videos about sports, lifestyle, pop culture, NBA, NFL, Marvel, DC, cooking videos, things of that nature. With that being said, let's talk about these Olympics. So I'm gonna go and talk about America. I might as well. First off and foremost, I'm gonna continue to reiterate that they should win. They are clearly the favorites, and if they lose, it will be the biggest colossal failure since 04, but maybe even worse than that, because this team, in my opinion, is way more talented, even in that 04 team that ended up losing to Argentina. Because you have Kevin Durant, the all-time leading scorer in US Olympics history. Then you have LeBron James, obviously one of the greatest players of all time, the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. Steph Curry, the greatest shooter of all time. And then you have a ton of young NBA talent. D-Book, my favorite player on the team, and just one of my favorite players in general. Anthony Edwards as well, who was a rising superstar, and we saw that this past season in the playoffs. Tyrese Halliburton, same thing with him. Jason Tatum, who just won the finals. Also Drew Holiday, who just won the finals. And Derek White, who also won the finals. 3 Celtics on the team. I know there's a lot of controversy around Derek White being picked over people like Jaylen Brown, who won the finals MVP since Kawhi Leonard dropped out, obviously. And Grant Hill says it's a fit thing, but I don't know. It is tough because a lot of people do think it's because of Nike and things of that nature, and that's what Jaylen Brown is kind of saying. But regardless, there's tons of NBA talent. There's tons of American talent. The team in 2028 is going to be totally different. People like Jalen Brunson should play then, even though he's hurt right now. That's why he didn't get picked. But this team is just full of an excess of talent, and these players are superstars on their team. Every single player, I would say, for the most part. So cohesively and altogether, no one is going to give America any type of sympathy, excuse, or anything like that, because we expect to win every game by a wide margin. And you look at teams like the Dream Team, you're going to be compared to them. The 2018 that was dominant. Also the 2012 team, of course, that was dominant. With LeBron, with Kobe, D Wade, Russell Westbrook, KD, James Harden. I mean, do I have to keep going on? That team was insane and stacked. They're going to be compared to that team, and they are dominant, and they continue to display that in the exhibition games going into Olympic play in late July into August. They're going to be good. They're going to be lit for sure. They continue to play like they did in the first exhibition game against Canada. There's going to be some question marks, but I don't expect that, guys. Like Tyrese Halliburton said, this is the worst that they were going to look in that Canada game, and they're going to play Australia and different teams like that in Abu Dhabi. I do fully, definitively have confidence saying that America, they're going to be just fine, but they're going to definitely get teams best as well. That goes without saying, and that's an expectation. I'm just looking forward to seeing it. But moving on to another country in France, of course, this this is the country that will be hosting the Olympics in Paris. I've also learned a little French in college. Bonjour, comment ça va? But anyways, yeah, Wemby, he's up next. Obviously, we know that. Only 20 years old. Gonna be playing with Rudy Gobert. I mean, I know y'all saw that block that he had in practice against Evan Fournier. That's insane. Wemby, he's gonna be a problem regardless. I don't expect France, if they do play against America, to really go too crazy, but you never know. I mean, I remember last year when they played in the World Cup against America, which was a totally different roster. Don't get me wrong. They definitely hooped against America. Evan Fournier, he always goes off an Olympic player whenever he's playing for France. And then Gobert, I mean, we know what he's fully capable of, but if America plays against France, I feel like we're gonna get flashes of what happened in the conference finals between the Timberwolves and the Mavericks. It'll be cool to see potentially Anthony Edwards go against his teammate Rudy Gobert, but if Gobert has to come on the perimeter, he's cooked. We saw that against Luka and Kyrie. If that happens, if Steph were to go against him, that's barbecue chicken. His teammate Anthony Edwards, that's barbecue chicken. Just name all the guards. D-Book, AD, Jason Tatum. I mean, he's getting fried if he's on the perimeter. Now, Wemby, that's a different story because he covers so much ground. And he's very agile at his 7'4", 5', 6", whatever height he is, because it's always listed differently at that frame. So he's going to be a problem for America regardless. I mean, we saw that in the league this season, his rookie year. I do expect that to be an intriguing matchup in France. Like I mentioned earlier, there are tons of prospects that they're having every single year. We saw in the 2023 draft, they had, of course, Wemby, another prospect that was from France. They had multiple this year in 2024 draft. And I'm sure there's more in 2025 and later and so on. So they're going to be a country to watch that could potentially dethrone America. Not this year, I don't think, but maybe in the foreseeable future, and I hope not as American, but I wouldn't be surprised. Another team that will certainly be in the mix in years to come, and they'll be competitive this year, is Canada. I talked about them a little bit earlier, but just shedding more light on them, SGA, one of the top 5 players in the league in my estimation, in my opinion. Of course, Olympic play is different, but he's going to continue to play at a high level in my eyes, and especially for his country. And really these other players as well playing for their country, like I said, it just really boosts their overall, it makes it seem like, because they're playing with a lot of pride. Dylan Brooks, we know the pest that he is defensively and how he likes to annoy players like LeBron, but really he is a solid player and he can score when he needs to. And also, of course, you have Jamal Murray. He hasn't been an all-star in the league, but he obviously is an all-star caliber player, has a ring won in 2023 with Denver. He provides scoring and great shooting for that Canada team and roster. And like I said earlier, they're playing without some talent. Benedict Mathurin, who was injured at the end of the season for the Pacers, he won't be playing in the Olympics, but he's going to be there for years to come. He just finished, I believe, his 2nd NBA season. That's some great young talent for Canada going forward in the future. Andrew Nembhard, he's on the team. We'll see how he's able to play, but he did play great for the Pacers as well. Zach Edey, like I talked about a little bit earlier, not playing in the Olympics, but he's going to be another asset for them in the future, and just potentially in the future for Canada more. They're going to be another team to watch because they have NBA talent. Lou Dort as well, a lockdown defender. They got some guys. We shouldn't sleep on them at all, I would say. They had Dwight Powell, but I mean, he'll probably play better in the Olympics, but he really has been riding the bench for the Mavericks. But they have some talent in Canada. That's going to be another team on the rise. Like we saw in the World Cup, I'm intrigued to see the next World Cup play more so than the Olympics this year, because who are we really going to send in terms of America? Because if we're sending a team similar to the 2023 World Cup team, they're going to lose because these players are getting better. Germany is getting better. That's another team I'm talking about. They're real for sure. So America and Grant Hill, they have to make sure they're picking the cream of the crop because teams like Canada and France are coming in. Also, Australia, they're always competitive. I said earlier some of the veterans that they'll have in Joe Ingles and Patty Mills. Josh Giddey, of course. I do think he's a talented young player, but he has to get his shot right. But he does play pretty solid with Australia, I would say. Of course, they have Dante Exum as well, too, who's a solid guard. Played some great minutes in the finals and really just during the playoffs. Had a really good season for them. I think Exum will play really good for his country. He's really revitalized his career since coming back to the NBA. Josh Green, a young athletic player. Of course, he got traded from that sign and trade with Klay Thompson going to the Mavericks, but he's still really good and has been in the league for 4 seasons now, so he'll be able to do good for Australia. That team is always a good competitor for the US, but this year they also have Matthew Dellavedova still, who we remember in the 2015 NBA Finals. He did his best against Curry and he really played good defense, but of course Curry was able to overcome that. That Australia team is really always an ultra competitive team against America. But this year, out of all years, I don't see it as much. I could be wrong. I just don't think that they are as talented enough or have the scoring to match America. And that's really all the teams in my opinion, especially this year. World Cup wise, like I said a second ago, we'll see who they send in terms of America, but it's gonna be hard for teams to match. But Australia, depending on the type of prospects that they have in the next coming years, watch out for them too. Now Germany, all due respect, I respect them a lot for winning the World Cup last year. But this year particularly, I just don't necessarily see them fooling at all with America, for sure not, respectfully, because of the guard play. Of course, Dennis Schroeder, he played great in the World Cup in 2023. He averaged 19 points per game, played really well, was able to get teammates like Franz Wagner, who just got a huge contract with the Orlando Magic, well deserved. I feel like he's a really underrated player in the league, was able to get him involved, and also his older brother Mo Wagner. So they have a few NBA players for sure. Also a player like Daniel Tice as well, who's always been solid in the league, but I just don't see them going too crazy, honestly. Now I'm not gonna lie, speaking for a team like Japan, the only players I know are Rui Hachimura and Yuta Watanabe. The rest of the players I do not know, but I have to acknowledge them because, of course, Watanabe played in the league. He's been a role player, but still has played in the league. Hachimura, he's been a role player, but he's a really good role player. Has been key for the Lakers when he is healthy and plays. Don't see them really doing too much, but still respect him, I would say. And you never know what type of talent that Japan could potentially have in the future, but I guess I'm bringing up a team like them to say that there's NBA talent everywhere, internationally, and that's why we've seen the last 4 MVPs be international players. Nikola Jokic, of course, he's won 3. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's won 1. Joel Embiid, he's won as well. And in the near future, we can definitely expect Luka Doncic to get 1 or multiple MVPs. So it's really just the beginning of these international players being great overall in the NBA and also being great for their countries. Last but not least, in terms of teams that we're going to focus on with more depth, there are 12 teams total, but I'm not going to talk about all of them. Serbian national team, you have Nikola Jokic, 3-time MVP, Finals MVP in 2023 and NBA champion. He's always going to be a mismatch problem. He's not playing with NBA talent besides Bogdan Bogdanovic and Nikola Jovic, but those are 2 players that are also really solid in the league. Jovic being really young. Bogdanovic, he's also played great in international play, and he's been able to score pretty well at the NBA level as well too. They'll be able to make things interesting for Serbia, to say the least, but the rest of the roster isn't too strong to where I would say they are really a huge threat to teams like America or even Canada or teams of that nature. We can't sleep on them in the future. And also, I'll give a little love to Puerto Rico. Of course, they have Jose Alvarado, NBA player as well. He's a pest for the Pelicans, and he plays really good for them. And last but really not least, Giannis leading the Greece national team to the Olympics as well for the first time, I believe, since 2008. That's huge for them. And for Giannis, you can tell the passion that he plays with, of course, when he always plays in the NBA. Hasn't been healthy in the past 2 playoffs, but we acknowledge that he's a top 5 player in the league when he is healthy. So it's going to be cool to see Giannis play. It'll be interesting to see if he played against America as well, because not too much talent on that Greece national team besides him. His brother Kostas is playing on the team, and another player I recognize, Papagiannis, I believe his name was. He had a little stint in the NBA sometimes, but I don't expect them to be too crazy in the Olympics. But of course, with Giannis, you always have a chance at doing something special or doing something good. But with all those teams being said, there's a lot of talent. I do believe that's why this is going to be the best Olympics that we've seen yet. The high level play, the aggressiveness, the physicality, really the overall entertainment is what's going to make this year's 2024 Paris Olympics special, specifically in basketball. That's what I talk about the most, obviously, but the Olympics should be great in terms of gymnastics, swimming, diving, things of that nature, but specifically basketball is going to be great this year and really years to come, because America, they're going to have to be on their super A game. They might have to send their A teams all the time now in order to dominate, because the world is catching up. Make no mistake about that. Teams are starting to get better. Players are starting to get better. Players are playing professionally when they're young as 13, 14 years old. So that's what's making these Olympics great for now and for the future. And it's going to be a beautiful thing to see, most definitely. But yeah, y'all guys, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Are you excited for this year's Olympics? In my opinion, it's always a beautiful thing when we have some extra basketball, especially in the summer, in July and August, when usually in other years it's the dog days of summer. Of course, you have the MLB, but no disrespect, baseball fans. Yes, I'm from Houston. I'm an Astros fan. Boo, whatever. Baseball is boring in the regular season. In the playoffs, that's really when it gets amped. But just being honest, now since we have basketball in the Olympics this year in 2024, it's going to be an amazing and exciting thing to see. And like I said, the talent, it's widespread and it's going to be entertaining. So let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Do y'all expect America to dominate everyone? Do you expect it to be tough, or do you expect it to be even an upset? Y'all let me know. I appreciate you guys watching always. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at SwaggyRuss, and also on TikTok at SwaggyRuss02 for cooking videos, shorts, reels, things of that nature. More videos on the way. I'll stay tuned for more, guys. I love the support that y'all always have for me. Showing love always. Love the positive comments, even the negative comments at times. Iron sharpens iron. We can always improve an area and aspect of life. So y'all be blessed. Stay tuned for more. God loves you. You matter. You have a purpose. And y'all have a good one.